I think that when an aircraft carrier gets withdrawn from the region for repair, the perception is America's commitment is diminished. Unfortunately, I think there have been mistakes by America in the messages that it sent. When the UAE, 2 ships of the UAE got attacked by Iran with drones and missiles, the United States did not respond. They did later with a subsequent attack. But UAE's reaction is, why are we in a naval coalition with the United States if they're not there for us? And they pulled out. And yet they are participating in an Iranian-led coalition in the northern Persian Gulf. They think they can rely on Iran. They know full well the threat Iran poses to them and their existence. And yet you have countries, including India, joining in that naval coalition. In the Middle East, people do things based on perception, not necessarily on reality. And, I guess it's true of human nature, but it's particularly true here because there are different senses of cognitive dissonance and other things, which are culturally rooted. And so they look at this and they see United States interested in South China, diverting resources, the Ukraine, depleting the stockpiles here in Israel and elsewhere to provide to the Ukrainians, which is fine. But it's the messages that all of this, and if you don't replenish it, if you don't maintain the visual aspects of commitment, and then the negotiations with Iran, they further say, you see that the United States hasn't learned the lessons of the JCPOA. They see Iran enriching. They violate every agreement. And yet we continue to try to work out a deal, a lesser deal, a smaller deal. They don't call it a deal. They don't want anything that's called an agreement because they don't want Congress involved. So, if you're sitting in an Arab leader's seat, you have to look at it at how they perceive it. When we look at America's own border, and we see an hour and a half from Florida, a continent that is being taken over by Iran.
Latin America, Central and South
Central Latin America, South America, Central America, from Chile's last election, Bolsonaro's ouster, Colombia, Costa Rica, and let alone all the Bolivarian states led by Venezuela and Bolivia, Ecuador, all of them, Iran is operating. Chinese are in there, the Russians are in there, but mostly it's Iran that is Hezbollah bases all over. So Iran is not going to fight us from 8,000 miles away. They learned the lesson. They can fight us from an hour and a half off our coast. Aside from the economic exploitation, this physical security that they go in American shipping lanes, that they send 2 tin boats, military craft through the Panama Canal, and we didn't stop them. What is the message to the countries in South America? What's the message to our allies? That we let them transnavigate the whole world back to Oman after stopping in Rio de Janeiro, maybe Venezuela. All this projects an image that we are not resolute, or that there's weakness, or that they can get away with it. And they're brilliant in exploiting it.
آنچه در مورد ما میگویند